Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson here. Coming up this week in the Buffalo Stampede, basketball season just around the corner. We're going to connect with the head coach of the men's team, Tad Boyle, and the women's team, JR Payne. A lot of excitement around those two programs this year. We're also talking golf with Roy Edwards. We're going to get a tour of his facilities and office, and we're going to connect with our old buddy Neill Woelk, the contributing editor at CUBuffs.com. This week on the Buffalo Stampede.
Dimitri Stanley is going to take it to the house.
There is why he's one of the best linebackers in America. And there he goes! Touchdown! Right between the eyes from downtown.
Attaboy Lolo.
It's a winner for the Buffs.
Ball is right in front. A couple of shot fakes to Chief Barry.
Up a high screen, McKinley turns the corner, hook pass to the pace, taken by Jabari in the jam with two hands. How about that feed that time by McKinley? Pass cross court taken by Mannix, touch pass high on the left side, and Jabari for three, right between the eyes, from downtown. To the 12-minute mark, up court, Jabari high on the left side for three. Oh, he didn't cool off at halftime. In the second period, another right between the eyes for Jabari Walker.
That was one of the last times we saw the Buffs on the basketball court. That was in Indianapolis at the NCAA tournament. Big victory over Georgetown. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Buffalo Stampede. Good to be talking some basketball. Head coach Tad Boyle joining us, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. They've been practicing now for, 2 weeks?
Yep.
You're undefeated right now?
Yeah, that's right.
Feeling good about
a game.
feeling good about everything, right?
I do feel good about things. And so, I said this last year, Mark, that last year's team was probably the most enjoyable team I've coached, maybe in my career. And I feel really the same way about this year's team. We had 7 seniors last year. We've only got 4 this year. Evan Batty and Eli Parquet kind of starts with them. But Ben Ursek and Will Laughlin, 2 walk-ons that have been with us now for a while, I think they're going to provide us great leadership this year. And we're going to need it because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when adversity is going to hit us.
Sure.
And we're going to need great leadership to get us through those times. But I really like our young guys, but we're going to need some of those guys to grow up quick.
Yeah, those young guys are awful talented. Now, one thing, you and I talked about this before. A team like last year, your coaching was a little bit different now with a team like this because those guys knew a lot. They knew what to expect. They knew the culture. They knew your system. You and your staff got to do a lot of coaching, I would think, this year.
Yeah, a lot more teaching, a lot more reps, a lot more stopping things, and again, that's where the few seniors that we do have done and need to continue to do a great job of letting their voices be heard, because it can't always just be the coaches. And we know when the games start, we start going up and down, and we don't get to go out and huddle with the guys on the court. They have to huddle themselves. They have to kind of right the wrongs, if you will, and understand what it takes to be successful. And that's what we're really trying to get through to our guys right now. A lot of our young players think that their identity comes from making shots and seeing that ball go to the hoop, which we all like to see. We just saw it with Georgetown, right? It's nice when that ball goes to the hoop, but we got to figure out how do we win games when it's not going through the hoop and really dive into that area.
You know this as well as anybody, that a team, when it takes ownership of itself, is when it's at its best. Absolutely. How do you help that process along with a young group like that?
I think you delegate. You delegate to your seniors. Eli, you got the perimeter guys. Evan, you got the post guys. If things don't go right, we're going to hold you accountable. And when they own that, they're ready for that role and they understand that. But I think the ownership piece, as you said, Mark, is the key to any great team. Player-led teams are so much more successful than coach-led teams. Because coaches can only do so much at this level.
There are times over the years where Ted and I have talked about guys, you redshirt or you don't redshirt. Boy, I wish I would have still had him for another. I bet you're glad right now you redshirted Evan Batty back.
Yeah, well, it wasn't by choice.
That's right.
It wasn't by Evan's choice or our choice. But boy, to have him back as a 5th-year senior and Eli is a 4th-year senior, having been through the wars. Evan is as special of a player as I've ever coached on the floor or off the floor. And we're looking for a great senior year for him.
Yeah, Elijah Parquet is a guy that I think is one of the. I think doing this for now will be my 18th season calling basketball. is one of the great stories you had here. Because
Absolutely.
he came in and he has made himself into a very good player.
Yeah, and he fought through the tough times. He fought through the adversity that we talk about. And, adversity hits your team, but it also hits individuals. And, I remember Eli as a sophomore, started a handful of games, and then there was a handful of games he never got off the bench and didn't play at all. And those are tough times to go through as a player, especially when you come from high school and you're used to success. And I'd like to think that if the transfer portal and immediate eligibility was still the case back then, that Eli would have stuck through it. We don't know that for a fact, but we're looking for guys like Eli who can fight through adversity, because sometimes they come in, McKinley Wright comes in, starts from day one, and other guys like Eli come in and it doesn't happen until his junior year. And I'm as proud of him as any player I've ever coached.
Yeah, he's been a great story of perseverance. All right, I'm going to be preemptive here. You're not going to replace McKinley Wright, that I understand.
No.
How do you replace the minutes, the numbers, all those other things?
I think it's by committee, Mark. I really do. I look at obviously Eli was McKinley's backcourt mate, and we know what he can do defensively, and he can make shots. He's playing really well offensively. But I look at Keyshawn Bartholomew, I look at KJ Simpson and Julian Hammond. Those three guys, kind of a three-headed monster, if you will. And there's going to be nights when one of them may not be playing well. We're going to need the other one or two to pick up. But I think those three guys, Keyshawn's had as good of an offseason as any player on our team this year, in the weight room, on the floor. KJ and Julian are really talented freshmen that are just going to keep getting better and better as the year goes on.
Well, one of the great things they always say about freshmen is become sophomores. You've got some very good sophomores you can rely upon this year. We're looking forward to it. Season gets underway in early November, and boy, you schedule a heck of a schedule again, by the way.
Yeah, I hope I didn't overschedule.
He says that every year. That's the head coach of the Buffaloes, Tad Boyle. Can't wait for basketball season to get underway. We're going to talk women's hoops as we take a break here in the Buffalo Stampede. That comes your way next.
Congratulations to JR Payne, her staff, and the Colorado Buffaloes. Victors over Stanford 77-72.
Well, there's some images of a big victory by the Buffaloes last year in women's basketball. They knocked off #1 Stanford right here at the Event Center. Hi, everybody, back at the Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, JR Payne. Boy, you look back to that year, and you had a bunch of them that were, razor thin, so close. Yeah. I think that's why there's so much optimism around your team this year.
Yeah, I think so. And just the fact that we actually performed really well last year. Like you said, a lot of close games. And we have a lot of veterans back this year. I think that's, for us is very comforting knowing that we have a lot of productivity back.
You think, and you hear this across the world of sports, right? Teams have to learn to win.
Yes.
And so you can have some painful, close losses, and there's lessons that come from that, and growth. Are you seeing a different team through your first couple of weeks of camp?
Yeah, definitely. We've been able to get to a lot of live action faster than we have in past years. I think partly because we're pretty veteran laden. Yeah. And so that's helping. We're already talking about end of game scenarios. We want to do this, make those decisions, recognize time and score, things like that.
I was just talking with Tad the second before about team taking ownership of itself. When a team does that, and it's not coaches forcing ownership, when a group of players says, this is our team, and we appreciate what JR and the staff are saying, but it's our team and we've got to take the mantle. Are you seeing that from your squad?
Yeah, not as much as we need to, if I'm being totally honest. We need more people to have a more vocal presence, on the group. We have people that are doing the right things, playing well, constructively coaching each other. But we need more voices on the floor. Sometimes as coaches need to stop talking and let the team talk.
Who would be the most vocal person on your team right now?
I would say Peanut, for sure.
That makes
Peanut
sense,
and Sela. I think both of those guys, they've been here a long time. Both of them are doing a good job of using their voice and, and being able to impact the group in that way. We need Maya to speak up more because she's been here a long time. She knows, pretty much the right and wrong things to do on the floor. We need Jalen to speak up more. She's always been a quiet type, wants to lead by example. Right. But yeah, I think we're in a good spot. We just need to continue to challenge them in that way.
Not only is it important to have veterans on the roster, but you've got a staff that's been together.
Yeah.
There's value in that. Having that consistency and that consistent message and the symbiosis between all of you, right?
Yeah, and it's actually pretty rare. I know our men have had, their staff together a long time as well. But yeah, we've all been here all together the entire time. At Colorado, most of us came from Santa Clara together. So we can almost finish each other's sentences.
Right.
The great thing thing is we trust each other implicitly. So if Alex is coaching somebody on something, I know whatever she's saying is right. Or would be in line with what we want philosophically. And I think our team, really appreciates the continuity that comes with the same coaches.
We've seen Maya Hollingshed grow into a top-notch player in the Pac-12. What does it mean having her come back for another year?
Well, it's funny because when we had the first practice of the year, I went over to her and said, I won't know what to do without you next year. She's been here so long. In my 5 years here, I've only had 1 year without Maya. So, she's doing great. She's playing really well. She looks good. She feels good. And it means a lot to have such a good player coming back, knowing, what to expect and leading by example.
All right, you mentioned Jalen Sherrod. When you have that point guard, that quarterback on the court, have you seen her grow as she becomes an older player?
Yeah, Jalen missed half the year last year, as we know, with the hip surgery. Sela came in and did phenomenal. So we have a lot of veteran point guards. Specifically in Sela and Jalen. And then we've got a couple new point guards that are also very good. So there's some pretty stiff competition in the point guard spot right now. But as far as Jalen goes, she's just getting her body back. She had a major hip surgery last January, and it took a long time to recover from. But she's moving great. She's the strongest one in the weight room. She's the fastest one on the floor. She's just a natural, she was blessed genetically. And so we need her to continue to grow her vocal presence. But she's doing really well.
Your schedule. Now, November 1st, you get an exhibition.
Yeah.
Your first couple of games in the regular season then, pre-conference, are on the road.
Yeah.
It's a very challenging slate you've got.
Yeah. So we love our preseason schedule. As we all know, the Pac-12 is really tough. We feel like we balanced our schedule well. We're at Oklahoma State, and then we're at Air Force opening weekend of league. So we'll be off to the races soon.
And then after that, by the way, you've only got, was it one more road game after?
One more road game. Southern Utah, where I had my first head coaching job. So that'll be fun.
Get to go back home a little bit.
Yeah.
Is this we joke with Tad all the time. Every year I say to Tad, how much you're scheduling? Because I overscheduled. I said, you've only got one person to blame, that's you. How do you feel about the way you built this that prepares your team for the Pac-12?
I actually really like our schedule. We were able to, Toriano does our scheduling, and he's a wizard. As far as getting teams to come to Boulder, nobody ever wants to come to Boulder because we're hard to beat here in the elevation and things. But we got our Thanksgiving tournament back, so we have some good teams. We have Wisconsin, Boise State, Louisiana Tech coming to the Thanksgiving tournament. We have Marquette here this year, which, they were a top 15 team last year. Of course, Oklahoma State and SMU, just a lot of really good challenging things on our schedule.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is going to be good to be a Buffalo, whether the men or women are playing at the Event Center. A lot of excitement with both of these programs. Good luck this season.
All right, thanks.
All right, head coach JR Payne joining us here at the Buffalo Stampede. We're talking golf coming up next. Head coach for the men's team, Roy Edwards, joins us next.
Hopcroft. Chance here, working against Canales, steps inside. 3 Bruin defenders. She still has the ball at her feet. Oh, well done by Hopcroft, but didn't get the shot. Then Webb. Right in front is James! And Colorado has broken through in the 74th minute.
There's a couple of images of CU soccer dropping a heartbreaker at UCLA. Back in the Buffalo Stampede, time to talk a little golf. We come from the coolest office, really, in the athletic department. It's the golf office. Roy Edwards, head coach of the men's golf team here. You do. This isn't, it's a great place to hang out.
I think it's the best place on campus, Mark. It's pretty unbelievable right here in the middle of Folsom Field.
Yeah, good stuff. You guys are coming back. You had the Simpson a while ago. You just got back from Notre Dame. What's a thought or two about those two events?
Good, yeah. Simpson was solid home event. A lot of red numbers. A lot of guys played well. Notre Dame coming back, got a couple late wins against some really good teams. Solid event. All of our freshmen playing really well. Dylan McDermott highlighted us at Notre Dame.
Nice.
Finished in 3rd. Had some guys on the move, so it's been good.
We talk about young teams here on campus. Football's a very young team. You guys, for the most part, it's freshmen on the course for you all the time, right?
Yeah, we've got 4 true freshmen coming in. Another guy, Jack Hughes, coming off a redshirt year. That's a freshman. We've had a great impact. 3 or 4 freshmen in the lineup of 5 guys every single week, and it's been awesome. Every one of them's played really well. We've got some older guys that are playing well at times too. We've got to get a little bit more consistent, but excited about the future and the rest of the fall.
You think about freshman athletes. By the way, I want to walk over here too, so you can kind of see the other side of the office here. Talk about freshman athletes in some sports. They've got to physically mature. What's the difficulty of a freshman golfer?
Well, you've got to. Physical maturity is important too, but what you've also got is the mental side of it. Coming into campus, going to class, balancing being away from home, and then performing at a really high level from the golf side is incredibly important. So they've got to do all those things. You know, and keep up with all their academics too.
It's just, you think about the sport of golf, and you know, I know golfers work out. Tiger Woods kind of changed all of that years ago with guys getting in the weight room. But is it really the growth that they do up here?
Yeah, it's an adjustment in college because of all the things I just mentioned.
Yeah.
And golfers typically get better as they get a lot older. They're not, you know, at their best at 17, 18, 19 years old. So what they've got to then go do is they've got to go out and grow mentally, grow physically, get used to the difficulty of college golf courses and all the things that we ask them to do at a really high level of team golf.
You know, the other thing about golf, yes, they were just in South Bend, which, you know, has its high points. But their next event, you guys get to go to Hawaii, don't you?
We do. Don't tell anybody around here that, Mark. We like to keep that one a secret until we get back. But yeah, we're headed to Maui, Kaanapali, first time event for us at that tournament. And yeah, we're excited. It's going to be a top field in the country, and we've got a couple weeks of preparation here in Boulder, and we'll be on our way.
Yeah, they always go to the great locations, by the way. I want to walk over here. One of the cool things they've got here in the golf office, and watch out for this thing, I've banged my head on that thing a number of times, is the simulator. This thing, just give us a quick idea of what this thing's all about.
Well, Mark, over here we were standing on the putting green.
Yeah.
Inside of Gate 10 at Folsom Field, what we've got here is putting green. We can come in here. You get a TrackMan simulator right here that you can get dialed in. We'll bring a TrackMan out. Our players can come in here, men's and women's golfers. During the day, our offices, the coaches' offices are in here. We get a lot of awesome time with our team. Come in here, hang out. During football games, it's a fun time. We've got a popcorn machine, get some water, get in out of the hot weather or the cold weather. So it's just a special place that a lot of our donors have made possible for us.
So the simulator, how real to life is that for you and your golfers?
Well, not to get too technical with you, Mark, but it's a Doppler radar that sits behind them, and that actually measures everything about the club and the ball. All the golf nerds that are following us on the Buffalo Stampede will understand, you know, the launch conditions and smash factor and spin rates and ball speed and swing speed. It gives them all that information, hitting right into a net that they'd get anywhere else that they'd be playing golf.
Well, come on in here. You can work on your swing with Roy Edwards, and he can give you the forecast for the upcoming week with the Doppler radar.
There you go.
That's pretty good stuff, man. Well, good luck in Hawaii.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right, Roy Edwards, the golf coach here at the University of Colorado, as he joins us here on the Buffalo Stampede. Coming up next, we're going to talk with my cohort from CUBuffs.com, Neill Woelk.
Love that, no doubt about it, from Schnegenberger. Pass by Mack, goes back. Oh! Welcome to the pack, Jahara Campbell. All right, free ball, Colorado. Ewert Caesar options, yes, goes to the back. And that's what she needs to do.
Well, the CU volleyball team was in Los Angeles over the weekend, had a couple of tough ones against USC and UCLA, looking to bounce back now this week. Back in the Stampede, final segment. Joining us here for a couple of minutes is the contributing editor at CUBuffs.com, Neill Woelk. From parts unknown, we have tracked him down, but we're not going to tell you where he's at. But it's good to catch up with my partner, Neill Woelk, and talk a little CU athletics. Let's start out. We had Tad Boyle on to start the show today, and there's so much excitement around that program. They've been underway now with their camp here for, I don't know, a week and a half or 2 weeks or so. Boy, Tad's at a point, I think you're the guy that said this to me. He's not rebuilding anymore. He's just reloading year in and year out now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think, Mark, I think that's a great sign for a program that Tad has steadily built a foundation here to the point that now they don't have to reload or rebuild after a great year. They had a very good year last year, but they lost some great seniors in McKinley Wright, Deshaun Schwartz, Dallas Walton, but they don't have to rebuild from there. Tad has gotten to the point that he just keeps bringing in more good players, and they will be good again this year.
The point guard position. You mentioned McKinley Wright jumping to the NBA. He's with the Minnesota Timberwolves, so he's gone back home to his home state. I don't think you replace McKinley Wright. And Tad's probably going to have to do so with, what, 2 or 3 guys, I think, this upcoming season until maybe that kind of shakes out as we work our way through the campaign?
Yeah, I think Tad talked about that a couple weeks ago or a week or so ago. It might be a 3-headed monster. Certainly, Keyshawn Bartholomew has the head start on it. He's played in the program for a couple of years. He got some time there last year, but I think a guy like Case Simpson is going to come in and be very good at that position and help them right away. And he's got a couple other guys that I think are going to play that spot too. So it won't just be one guy. And I think the thing that really intrigued me is that Tad said they could run a 3-guard lineup at times.
Tristan Da Silva, I think, is going to be an outstanding player. We know what Jabari Walker did a year ago. You expect him to do even more now in year number 2 and probably become maybe their most relied upon scorer. But I don't think there's any doubt this is Evan Batty's basketball team in 2021 and 22, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's the emotional leader. He's the heart and soul of that team, and he has put so much into this program. I mean, all the things he has done, the things he has endured. He's always been a fan favorite and kind of a community guy, but now I think that whole team looks to Evan for leadership on the floor, in the locker room, emotionally, physically, and I can't think of a better guy to assume that mantle this year for the Buffs.
Yeah, we used to call Spencer Dinwiddie the mayor, but I think Evan Batty's given him a run for his money here around Boulder, as popular as he's become within this program. All right, let's shift gears to the women's basketball team. Yeah, he's the governor, exactly right. JR Payne's basketball team might be considered, I think, a team that potentially could be the most improved team of the Pac-12.
Yeah, Mark, they had so many close games last year. They knocked off #1 Stanford, and then they had a lot of games where they were just on the cusp of beating some very good teams. I think this is the year Maya Hollingshead coming back, Jalen Sherrod, who I think is going to take another big step in her development. Those are 2 players right there that you can build a really solid season around, and I expect both of them to kind of take that role of bringing the Buffs to the next level in the Pac-12.
All right, so we're talking a lot of optimism about Colorado basketball, both on the men's and women's side. Now let's talk about some redemption that we're looking for with a football program. They open up with a victory over Northern Colorado. They've dropped 3 in a row, coming off a bye week. Let's hope for Carl Durrell with Arizona on the docket this weekend at Folsom Field that it's been a productive and maybe a process of finding some answers for this football program.
Yeah, Mark, I think these last couple of weeks, the last week with the bye week, a chance to kind of regroup, reassess, do a lot of different things and get ready for this upcoming game. I think the one thing that this team is really looking forward to is right now they're hanging their hat. Maybe their best performance of the year was a loss. They lost 10-7 to Texas A&M, who, as we all know, just beat Alabama last weekend. I think they want to hang their hat on something other than a loss as being their best performance of the year, and I think this is a great opportunity for them. Arizona has lost 17 in a row. They're 0-5 this year. Colorado's 1-4. And I think both programs kind of want something to jumpstart their season. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for Colorado at home, in front of their home fans, to kind of get something going and restart this season, reboot it, so to speak.
Well, he's Neill Woelk. You can always catch his stuff at CUBuffs.com as a contributing editor. This weekend, it's the Buffaloes and the Arizona Wildcats. 1:30 at Folsom Field. Our coverage on the Colorado Football Network is underway at 11:30 as we put a wrap this week on the Buffalo Stampede. Thanks for joining us. I'm voice to the boss, Mark Johnson. We'll talk to you next time.